This bill ensures at least 50% of funds go directly to the most affected, those on the front lines of systemic and historic racism, the climate crisis, and economic inequality. When we talk about transformative legislation, we talk about Thrive. The Thrive Act is investing more money in frontline communities than anything that we've seen come out thus far. And that's exactly what's necessary to meet the needs of this moment, but also to meet the needs historically in our communities and the historic crimes against our communities. We know exactly what we need. Where we're at is not only because of the pandemic, it's because of decades of disinvestment in our communities that was made worse by the pandemic, made worse by the 2008 financial crisis. We are living crisis to crisis, and that must end today. The consequences are stark. More than 500,000 people died of COVID-19, including 2 of my own family members. Those deaths were concentrated in Black, Latinx, and Indigenous communities, and among essential workers. Women are dropping out of the workforce at record rates. It is not lost on me as we end Women's History Month that women accounted for, in December, Black, Latina, and Asian women accounted for 100% of the job losses in the United States. And as terrifying as that has been, it's the aftermath that scares us the most. When Congress refuses to step in, it puts the burden of recovery on our communities, on our neighbors, and on our families. And we know what it's like. It looks like starting GoFundMes for funerals because our stimulus checks stopped coming, but our jobs didn't come back. It looks like bringing meals and blankets to the neighbors in the middle of blizzards and wildfires. It looks like the people of Puerto Rico giving each other clean water because Congress didn't take the chance to make our neighborhoods resilient to the climate disasters we know are coming. It looks like millions of us taking to the streets out of grief and anger to fight against the fatal outcomes of his systemic racism while fighting the consequences of a global pandemic. Our communities are tired of being first responders. So before I go, I want to send a clear message to the Biden administration and all members of Congress. The risk here isn't going too big, it's going too small. Black, brown, Indigenous, and working people of all races, and particularly women, have spent the last year caring for this country like never before. It is time for Congress to care for us. We call on members of Congress to join Representatives Khanna and Dingell and Senator Markey and pass the Thrive Act now, and for everyone who wants to join the fight. We'll see you out on these streets. Text RECESS to 30403 and join us in the fight because it is time to thrive.